Whether you enjoyed this movie or not, you got to applaud it for putting Bohemian Rhapsody in their marketing. Because that means I get to play this song in the beginning and in the end. So enjoy! Suicide Squad is the latest DC film of the summer, August 2016, and it's directed by David Ayer, who gave us Street Kings and End of Watch. And this film is basically the most highly anticipated film of the summer. I was excited to see this film rather than Batman vs Superman because there were so many things about this film that I was so excited about. One was the Joker. I was really excited to see Jared Leto's Joker, and I was really excited to see Harley Quinn. I really enjoyed watching her character in the Batman animated series, and this was the first time that we were going to be seeing her in a live-action film. This film tells a story about these DC criminals that no one has ever heard of, or unless you've read the comic books, but they've never been exposed in the big screen, and that was sort of a risk that Warner Brothers and the DC EU were making. Overall, I went into this film with high expectations. So this film is about a US intelligence officer played by Viola Davis called Amanda Waller formulates this plan to bring out supervillains from jail and force them to team up and go on a top secret mission just because they're expendable. Let's start off with the things that I really enjoyed about this movie. The acting was incredible. Everyone pulled it off perfectly. They put their heart and soul and energy and dedication into these characters. They were really believable. I really enjoyed their performance. Viola Davis was an amazing adversary, very sneaky, very conniving, very devious. Will Smith added his Will Smith wit to Deadshot, which I really enjoyed. Margot Robbie perfected Harley Quinn, minus the Boston accent, but she perfected her character and she pulled it off. She nailed it as Harley Quinn. I also really enjoyed Jai Courtney as well. Jai Courtney as the Boomerang made me laugh. And great character development as well. The relationships between each other were developing. All of the actors put their heart and soul and dedication into these roles. They were very believable and I really enjoyed watching their performance. This film has tons of humor as well. Great action sequences and it's very upbeat as well. Music and the soundtrack keeps you engaged. There's lots of pop song and pop culture references and everything. And they also have rock songs playing as well. You can tell by the music and the humor and the style of the film that the demographic of this film that was aiming towards were teenagers. This was overall an enjoyable movie. However, it is also a mess. Let's talk about the Joker, Jared Leto's Joker. Now, I really enjoyed the Joker, I really did. I really enjoyed the style that the film was going for. I know that Heath Ledger's Joker in The Dark Knight, his style was more different than to this one. And it's no use comparing two Jokers because their style is completely different. So I'm not going to be comparing these two. I really enjoyed Jared Leto's Joker, I really did. And I also enjoyed the relationship between Joker and Harley. There's like two scenes that I really enjoyed in this film. This is not going to be a bit of a spoiler, but I just want to explain it because I just really love these scenes. There's a part where Harley Quinn jumps into the acid and the Joker's just walking away, leaving her to die. But then he's like, and it's his jacket off and then he dives in. This film really shows the Joker in a very different way, in a way that you've never seen before. I really enjoyed the costumes as well. He's basically a pimp. He's basically a gangster boss. He is the mob boss. That's the sort of Joker that they were trying to portray. I really enjoyed the gangster Joker. I also really enjoyed the relationship between Joker and Harley Quinn. I found the scenes between Joker and Harley Quinn really heartwarming. They really were. And that's the problem. I'm not supposed to be finding the relationship between the Joker and Harley Quinn heartwarming. The real story behind the Joker and Harley Quinn is that the Joker abused her. He's basically a domestic abuser, but this film makes it look like he is in love with Harley Quinn. And the Joker and Harley Quinn's relationship I wanted to see more of because Harley Quinn's story was very interesting. How Harley Quinn became Harley Quinn. I wanted to see that. And in the trailer, when the Joker was holding these two things saying, I'm gonna hurt you really, really bad, I knew that was what the Joker was going to do to Harley Quinn. But as soon as that happens, the scene cuts. So basically, so many things were cut out of this film, including the Joker and Harley Quinn. The Joker was barely in this movie, and that was a bit of a disappointment for me because I wanted to see more from him. I really enjoyed him. I thought that he had potential in this movie, and I wanted to see more from him. Majority of people didn't like Jared Leto's Joker because It was underwhelming. There were so little scenes. He didn't have a specific scene where people could classify him as the Joker, even though I really enjoyed the part where he was in the helicopter shooting and laughing. I really enjoyed his laugh. And I'm not talking about the one that is in the trailer. He has another laugh that I really enjoyed and I wanted to hear it over and over again. He was convincing as the Joker, but my issue was that there wasn't enough of him. But I understand what this film was going for. This wasn't a Joker movie. In so many Batman adaptations, you see the Joker as the main villain, but the Joker is not the main villain in this film. The trailer is so deceptive, and that's another issue that I have with this film. The trailer makes it look as if the Suicide Squad is against the Joker. And that is what I was really excited about, because it changed the dynamic of superhero movies. So instead of the good versus the bad, it's the bad versus the ultimate evil. That was what I thought what this movie was expecting to be. But unfortunately, it wasn't that. They were just up against a beam in the sky. So what did I think of the real villain in this movie? I'm not going to tell you who the villain is. I'm just going to keep addressing the villain as the villain. The villain was mediocre. The villain's hit moves, the facial expression, the voice, it was just cringeworthy. I'm sorry guys, but it was just cringeworthy. And the CGI around the villain, it was just messy. Really? This is the final fight. It's 2016. Haven't we bypassed all that mediocre villain crap? You have the Joker in your movie, yet you give us a mediocre movie villain. Really? All the characters weren't interesting either. I know that I said in the beginning that the characters were enjoyable to watch, but they weren't interesting. I mean, the storytelling is muddled. It's completely confusing. Before I wanted to see this film, I thought that this film was going to go into flashback. I didn't mind because I wanted to explore these characters. These characters were sidelined, and the only person that I felt sorry for was Deadshot and El Diablo. That was it. Well, particularly Deadshot. I understand that there were so many characters in this movie and that the film was trying to juggle them, but they didn't even do that right. They didn't even do Harley Quinn. As I said before, Harley Quinn had a really intense story behind it. Probably one of the most interesting ones, and they didn't even tell that because they were focusing on the story that they were telling at hand. But that wasn't even interesting either. In the beginning of the film, instead of showing you what the characters' lives were like, they only told you, Killer Croc. What the hell happened to Killer Croc? I was more sympathetic to Killer Croc. I mean, look at him! What the hell happened to him? If I didn't read the comics, I would be more interested in hearing what Killer Croc. How is he? How does he feel? What is it like to be a social outcast? What drove him to be a murderer, a killer, a cannibal? But no, he's just sidelined to be a comic relief. He doesn't really say anything, really. And the plot is very nonsensical as well. It's a very nonsensical plot. And the editing is messy, it's sloppy, and it's choppy. When I heard that David Ayer was going to direct this film, I was pleased because I saw Street Kings and I saw End of Watch, and End of Watch was my favorite film from David Ayer. And I was really excited to see what sort of grittiness that David Ayer was going to bring, what sort of intense storytelling what he was going to bring to the table of DC to give these characters justice, and also the editing style of the film. The editing is horrible. And I noticed that there are so many things in this movie they cut out. There are like scenes where halfway through the dialogue, they cut it. It was just so chaotic. You can't even fail to notice how horrible and poor the editing is. It's that rushed. The film feels rushed. That sort of distracts you from the experience of watching this movie. So overall, if you go into this film caring so much about the characters and you're a DC fan that wants to see the characters brought justice, you're most likely going to be disappointed. The storytelling is muddled and confusing. The plot is very nonsensical. The film doesn't really have that much of a plot. The characters, although they're very enjoyable to watch, they're not very interesting. The Joker is barely in this movie, so if you're going into this movie expecting the Joker, you're going to be disappointed. The Joker was barely in this movie. He didn't really add that much of a plot to the story. And this film was highly anticipated to see the Joker. The Joker was pretty much 95% of the marketing. And people were most likely disappointed of the Joker because it's such an iconic character. And basically, Warner Brothers, they basically need another Joker. Despite the negativity that I've said about the movie, I overall enjoyed it. I wasn't bored. I wasn't slumped back in my chair waiting for the movie to end. I really enjoyed the movie. I enjoyed how upbeat it was. I enjoyed the soundtrack, even though there were some scenes where the song was just placed there just to be there, but I didn't really mind that. Tons of action, tons of humor, tons of character development, and it was overall enjoyable, guys. I'm gonna give Suicide Squad 7 out of 10. Is this the best DC film of all time? No, it's not. But is this the best DC film from the DCEU so far? In my opinion, yes it is. It's probably the most entertaining film from the DCEU, probably the best. And I guarantee you, if you're going to watch this movie with low expectations and see it for what it is, which is a summertime blockbuster film, you're gonna have a blast with this movie. You're guaranteed to enjoy it. So guys, what did you think of Suicide Squad? Yet another divisive movie from the DCEU. Why am I not surprised? Did you enjoy it? Were you excited? Were you pleased with this movie? Or were you disappointed? It was an utter disappointment. Where everything, comment down below, share me your thoughts. And also while you're at it, I want you to fill down 3 things this time, if you can. Number 1, out of all the Suicide Squad characters, who was your favorite? Number 2, who was your favorite actor portraying the Joker in a live action movie? Number 3, whether you enjoyed this movie or not, are there still any more DC films you want to look forward to? Wonder Woman, Justice League. I hear that Wonder Woman looks amazing. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the color scheme as well. A lot of color in it. And also the film is going to be directed by a female. So hopefully that DC will earn back its trust in representing female superheroes after that Batgirl in the Killing Joke fiasco. Now that was just... Oof. And as always, thank you all so much for watching. If you like this video, please hit the thumbs up and subscribe to see more of my film reviews. And until next time, guys, have a great one.